I'm Stephanie Carlson, member of the Leadership Development Committee, and I want to welcome you to our RSCK Candidate Forum. This forum is held to allow all qualified candidates for the RSCK Board of Directors an opportunity to address their membership so that members can get to know their candidates. The Leadership Development Committee has worked hard to identify and secure the future leadership of RSCK. I want to thank our committee members, Greg McCurdy. He's supposed to be doing this, but we have her up here, so we thought we better do it. He's our chair. Tim Drennan, Monica Miller, Patty Sanders, John Truman, and all our staff being John Sheila Rumsey and Kylie Grote. I also want to briefly highlight the job description of an RSCK director. The board of directors is comprised of active RSCK members and forms one voice which governs the association in accordance with bylaws. A director serves as an essential component of the main decision-making body of the association. The primary duty of a director is to meet regularly with the officers and other directors to approve, establish, prioritize, and evaluate the programs and services of the association to be sure that they serve the mission of the association. While a director may not be involved in the day-to-day administrative details and operations, he or she should be sufficiently informed to represent the members in ensuring the unity of the association by planning for the future, establishing and reviewing major policies and programs, and making sure the organization is fiscally sound. There are 5 open positions for the 2025-2027 Board of Directors. Qualifications that each of today's 7 candidates have met are at least 2 years of Realtor membership, at least 2 years of active Realtor Association committee experience or equivalent leadership experience in the past 3 years. No ethics violations with RSCK or the Kansas Real Estate Commission within the past 3 years, and broker acknowledgement of application. We're going to introduce the 7 candidates that we have, and then I'll come back to you and have you do your introductions. Veronica Gillette with Heritage First, Myron Clausen, Coldwell Banker Plaza Real Estate, Stephanie McCurdy, Keller Williams, Hometown Partners, John Quincy, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Pinhead Realty, Chris Ross, Coldwell Banker, APW Realtors, Tammy Chirac, Knollwood Realty, and Sandy Went, JP Wagon and Sons. I am the moderator for our candidate forum today, and we have provided our candidates with a list of questions prior to today, and we will start with introductions for each one of you. Like Kylie said, 3 minutes or less, and then we'll just go right down the road, starting with Veronica.
Okay, sounds like we're on it. Thank you all for coming here. I really appreciate you taking the time. This is so important for our association. Everyone has a voice in who is involved at this decision level and leadership. So, it's Veronica Gillette. I was born and raised here in Wichita. I grew up in Midtown. My parents still live in the same home. They've been there about 42 years. And I'm a product of Wichita Public Schools, and I actually work with Wichita Public Schools outside of being a realtor as well. And I don't want to spill too much of the info that I feel like I'll be answering in some of the questions following, but I'm going to quick introduce myself. I've been licensed for 3.5 years now, and have really enjoyed being involved here at the association, and I'm excited to find further ways to not only be involved here at our local association, but at PAR as
well. We're coming out again also, Myron Clausen, Color Banker. So, we've been doing business for 7 years. And I managed sell part of the real estate this year, so I used to table to bring the thought process to the business. I have also held contractor's license since 1988. So that experience on real estate some of the schoolhouse. So looking forward to challenges that are coming up in the next couple of years as they work through these new changes. Thank you.
Well, it's like you should use that as a last name. Most people don't even contractors. My name is Stephanie McCurdy, and I'm an associate broker at Keller Williams Hometown Partners. I've been a licensee for a little over 22 years, almost to 23. I am going to go things for the McCurdy. I sit on the front row. So pretty nothing, I promise. So, I was with our association pretty much from the get-go. I've served on the Realtors Political Action Committee. I am now on the board of trustees for RPAC. I've sat on the board of directors. I'm involved in professional standards, and I'm a real estate instructor here at the Realtors of South Central Kansas. I'm incredibly passionate about our industry and making sure we protect the American dream. So if you've not joined RPAC, we will take your money today, okay, before you leave. And to make sure that we as an association are providing goods and services to our membership to help them to continue to grow their businesses. So I'm looking forward to today and getting to know everyone here. And thank you all so much for coming.
Good afternoon. Like they said, thank you guys for being here. It's always good to see the good faces that show up to these things. We really appreciate it. And similar to what everybody said, besides the fact, my name is John Quincy. I'm born and raised here in Wichita. Took a brief detour down to Pittsburgh State University for some higher education. Came back, was excited to get licensed April 2nd, 2007. First half of my career really sold. Second half got into the management side and enjoyed all aspects of it. And my mentor years ago, I was decided wanted to get involved somehow in the association, in the industry. And it was suggested to stay at the local level at that time. And I remember filling out a sheet to get involved in the committee. And at that time, I don't think I picked one. I said, I just want to be on something. We got put on, it was RPAC, I think, fundraising at the time in government affairs. And that, I remember getting accepted. That was some thought of these two interests I have right now. And now it's become a passion. So it's fun. It's wonderful to be down here and work with you guys, to be able to give back to such a wonderful industry.
Hello, I'm Chris Ross from Salina. Didn't grow up there, didn't grow up in Kansas, grew up in Missouri. But don't hold that against me. I've been in Kansas for almost 30 years. Got my real estate license in 2002 and broker's license in 2015, 2014, somewhere there. I'm the managing broker at Full Banker APW in Salina. And I've been involved at that local association for many years. Have been president of that board twice. I've been past state president, Region 9 RVP. So I've been around in the leadership roles and appreciate being involved. Like giving back, and I think it's important from. I don't know a lot about your local association other than outside opinion. So I think coming from that, have something to offer and want to make sure that the members in Salina are well informed and represented in the association. So that's the reason I'm here.
And I'm Tammy Sherry from Salina, so I echo quite a bit what Chris said about not knowing much about this association, but I'm looking forward to being a part of it now. I did grow up in Kansas, but I grew up in a small town called Brookville, and now I reside right outside of Sullivan with my husband, and we've been married for 30 years. I started real estate in 2009. I got my license and have been with Millwood Realty ever since. I have also been involved in the board in our association. I think in 2014, I was the president of the board, and then I was back on the board a couple years later. I also was very involved in the MLS. I was on that board for 2 terms and was also president both terms. So I am looking forward to bringing some of our knowledge here, which may not be a lot, but I'll try. Thank you.
Sandy Went, and I got my license in 2003, and this is my second career. I was raised in Kansas.
I got involved with committee work because somebody said, you know their position. I said, "Oh, sure." And I'm absolutely, I just found that there was such an advantage to involvement. And I never spent a year not being on this one. So, I feel that we've done a lot of good work in that time that I've been on the board.
Okay, thank you. And Tammy, I'm sorry I mispronounced your last name. I appreciate it.
Everyone does.
Okay, and I asked a couple people to make sure I said names right. Okay. Anyway, we can go on now to our questions. When you answer, if you could keep them concise would be great. And we'll see if we can get through these. After we're done with the prepared question and answer period, we can come out and see if we can time to pick up any of you guys have questions that weren't already addressed. But we'll start with our number one question for each of the candidates. Again, you're always, I guess we'll start here and work our way down. But the number one, our first question is background. What experience do you have in leadership roles or in committee service, including experience RSCK, CAR, NAR, and any other relevant information?
Thank you. So right after I became licensed, I received an email sharing that there was a task force being created to start a possible diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. So at the time, again, it was a task force. Immediately, it appealed to me outside being a realtor. I mentioned how I work with Wichita Public Schools, and that program oversees the Native American student population. So I'd already been working under a diversity, equity, and inclusion basically umbrella with the district, and had lots of training and done a lot of work on advocating for equitable resources and promoting diversity and inclusive practices. So right when I saw that, I was super excited because I was, of course, a little nervous getting into the real estate industry and still getting my confidence. And this was something that I was like, oh, I feel like I can actually contribute here. So I joined the task force and helped the group to be able to create a mission statement that was then presented to the board, and we officially became a committee. So for the next 2 years, I served as the DEI committee chair, and I currently serve as the former, most recent past chair. Also here at RSCK, I've volunteered with the Realtor Relief Foundation fundraising event. I did that the last 2 years. I haven't had as much time to contribute this year, unfortunately. Outside of the Realtor Association, which kind of sparked me getting more engaged in the community, I started volunteering with the W Young Professionals with the Wichita Chamber of Commerce. So they have an impact team that really focuses on getting young people more civically engaged. So again, I started that, and a month later they were doing elections, and they were like, hey, we think you'd be a great chair. And so at the time, my plate was pretty full, but I did accept to be the vice chair. So I was able to serve in that role for a year and continue to volunteer with them. Through that connection, I was appointed by former Mayor Brandon Whipple to serve on the city's Diversity, Inclusion, and Civil Rights Advisory Board. And after a year of serving on there, I was selected to be the chair for them. And I most recently, because of a conflict of something else I have going on, had to step down. But I really enjoyed serving in that role too, and being able to work with the new professionals and new focus, and was able to bring my experience in education and housing to that table. So I really enjoyed that. Also through my district program, I volunteered with their Native American Community Resource Coalition. And I am the head volunteer coordinator of the events we do for that. Tonight, we actually have the food distribution that we'll be doing. So I'll leave here changing my shorts and tennis shoes and be doing that. But those are the main involvement in leadership roles I've had the past couple or few years, I should say.
Do you have time to sell any books? Yeah, my experience is a little lax for my 37 years. I was on the forms committee many years ago, and I was too busy selling real estate to spend a lot of time down here. I was approached by more than one person to come and apply for the directors, and so I've been a director the last 3 years. I've really enjoyed the time and the challenge we went through. Forms is one of the most important things we have done recently, and that's kind of one of my passions. As far as leadership, I do manage 25 agents in my office, which is a challenge sometimes, but a lot of fun also. They're a bunch of good people. Leadership wise, I've always done that. I started off as a captain in football in my high school and my college team, and learned a lot of leadership skills there. When you're trying to get a team to gel together and do that. So that's where my leadership first formed.
So when I first joined the association, the gentleman that I worked for, my broker, said you have to get involved. And I went to RPAC first. And so there developed my love for RPAC and for government affairs. And I've been fairly intimately involved with what we're doing on a local level and state level. And I've really enjoyed that. I've chaired both of those committees, as well as I've been on professional standards. I've sat on that for many years now. I've sat on the KAR board of directors. I enjoyed serving there because it's a whole different ballgame at the Kansas Association of Realtors. Outside of the real estate industry, I currently serve at the Junior League of Wichita. I run the largest shopping event of the year. It is October 4th through 6th if you'd like to get tickets. And also I helped start an organization called the Wichita Animal Action League back in 2013. You will probably, if you follow me anywhere on social media, you know that I love animals and I want to make sure that we get them all great homes and also affect legislation and change, which goes hand in hand in what we do here at the Realtors Association. So I did serve on our board of directors for a few years, and I'm looking forward to serving well.
I think now is a three-part question, I believe. Before real estate, I was a student. It was college, and then really into real estate. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do after business. And I had an uncle here in Wichita that said, "Why don't you go back to Wichita and sell real estate for me?" And so the rest there is history. My involvement with the association was him encouraging me to get involved down here after a few years being licensed. Quickly got encouraged to apply for the board of directors years ago. Spent, I believe, 2 different terms on the board of directors. I've chaired government affairs before, chaired grievance committee, spent a few years on that. Chaired government affairs at the state level as well. Really leadership began, I guess it was always a professional development / leadership junkie. It started in high school. I remember junior year of high school, I was in a leadership class, and some of you guys might remember the year Colin Powell came to town to speak as the for the Chamber of Commerce, and we got to write a letter of why we should be able to go. I wish I had that letter because I won, and I got to go to hear Colin Powell speak, and I don't know what I wrote, but it was good apparently. Then a couple years later, I went to college at Pittsburgh State, and I was in the inaugural class of the Presidential Emerging Leaders Program for that university. College got done, decided to come back here and get involved in, like I said, board of directors, chaired a number of committees here. Really, I slowed down for a few years because we started a family home, and I knew I kind of had to prioritize time management at that time. And so kids are a little bit older now, and I'm ready to jump feet first back into it along with what's going on in the world. So, yeah.
So I listed some highlights in my bio as far as different positions I've held with the association, none of which are here because we're usually members here, but I've served on several NAR committees and chaired one committee. Currently serve on the state and local issues policy committee, which my term's coming up at the end of this year. Not sure if I'll get another appointment or not. I put in for another NAR committee appointment. I think leadership from a standpoint of the association, it's helpful to be involved at every level. Because especially the local level first, mainly because if you're involved at the state or the national level, you need to bring that local perspective. And if you're not involved in the local association, how do you bring that local perspective and keep the pulse on of what's going on locally? And fortunately, I've been, the whole time I've been serving at state and national level, I've also served at the local level, either on a committee or on a board. So I think that's important. Prior to getting involved in real estate, I've been and served on the Saline County Fair Board for 20 years and was president for 2 terms. Served on the Chamber Ag Committee at the Salina Area Chamber of Commerce Ag Committee for 22 years. So they put on the Mid-American Farm Show every year and the Kansas Junior Dairy Show. So 4-H Dairy Show. So that's kind of some of my community involvement leadership. I'm a right track graduate in 2010 from the state association. So kind of nutshell me.
I kind of went over in my bio too, as far as real estate, being involved on the board and being an officer going on up. I also in the 2019 graduate from Right Track, which is a great program. If you haven't been through it, you should. It's really great. And so outside of real estate, I got involved with several of our nonprofit organizations. I'm currently involved with Blood Chloe for childhood cancer. It's great. Foundation to be a part of. I've been involved with Juvenile Diabetes Foundation, Relay for Life, and another. And then also I've been, we have in our small town in Solomon, we have a Solomon Festival that we put on every year. And so I've been involved with that, helping get lots of activities going for the kids and for adults as well. And we all end with the street dance on Saturday night. Great day, and we have fun. I also served on committees throughout grievance. We don't have hiring and boards, so I have been part of those committees through our local association. I've not been involved in Florida, but the next step. Or I'm in leadership. I spent a lot of years leading children and husbands, and that's probably the biggest things I did between church and school organizations that made me busy along. After we moved here, like I said, I got involved with the association here. Been on several committees, as well as the DEI committee when they organized their strategic plan. And really, my pure passion is I love giving people the chance to be able to do their job a little better, and supportively find ways to educate them better, so that they are able to further their value. But other than this, I mean, church and school.
Okay. Our next question, and we'll go down the road, so you don't have to be first. Myron can be first this time. And in the leadership qualities, as an association leader, what do you feel your role is in the community?
Well, we may have some challenges ahead of us as we know, market kind of downturned a little bit this summer and market may downturn again. And so we need to definitely get out there. If we do see a downturn in our market, who knows what's going to happen. I've seen in my real estate career, because I bought my first property in 1980, I've seen 3 major downturns in our market. So we've really got to get out and get our worth in front of the general public. We've got to show them what, especially with the lawsuit, that we have a place in real estate. We have a place in real estate transaction. We bring a lot of value to the transaction. I think that's one thing we've got to do is to go on some more, and that's very, very important to keep our industry going. And there may be challenges too if we have a downturn in the market. We're going to see our membership fall away a little bit too, which is going to be something board's gonna have to deal with as far as budgets go and those type of things. So I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying, I've seen three of them, and I've seen three major ones. The early 1980s with 18% interest, the RTC of the 86 and 2008. And so it was some pretty ugly times there. So we've got to make sure we're front and center with the public.
So as a member of the board of directors, we have the opportunity to be the ambassadors for this association. And to make sure that we are giving positivity out to our members and also giving the resources they need to continue to do their day-to-day jobs. We also get to continue to share with our clients and customers what the American dream is. And then in the face of adversity with a downturn potentially, or things that are going on with a lawsuit, people will follow us and do the things that we do and do the activities, but we have to show them that way. And we have to continue to be positive and be an ambassador for our association.
Yeah, what the words came to mind were, being a positive cheerleader and being an advocate for the association and for the members out there, the public. The job is to be out there and be the face of the industry to the public. And like Stephanie said, in a positive way, there's things going on, but this is a great industry with great people, and a lot of people work really hard to take care of their customers. And so when sometimes the media is not what we want it to look like, we can still be that positive voice.
So realtors in general, whether they're involved in the association or not, are usually some of the center hubs of their communities. They're the volunteers that do a lot of things. And so I think it's important to keep, as a director member, kind of keep a pulse on the membership, encourage them to be involved and volunteer, whether that's through the association or encourage them to stay involved in projects they're already doing. Because I think the community needs to be able to see realtors not only as representing housing, but also being key members, key volunteers in the community. And it may be a little different in, say, Salina versus Wichita, or Solomon, or wherever within the association, but we need to be those volunteers and being involved in charitable function, as well as being the face of real estate.
Ditto to what he said. I think that keeping communication open to the public is very important. Especially when new things are going on, you're always being asked, so what's going in over here? What's going in over there? So, you just want to make sure that you kind of be on top of that so you can answer any questions and let them know, hey, new apartment buildings are going in behind here. And then also I feel like I do agree that we need to be involved in the community as far as also being involved with local organization, nonprofit ones, and getting out there, get your name out there, being honest with everybody is another leadership quality. Most important to me would be that let the membership know what's happening in our industry, changes coming up and what they're going to mean to our industry. There is a big change that trying to get buyers and sellers to understand what we're going through. It's going to be a challenge, but we're up for it.
Well, I guess I think that one of the most important things that we have to do in the community is show the community that this is a profession, that we are professionals, and that because of the fact that we are professionals, we have a value. And just like the for sale by others and the people who like to do their wills online, people sometimes have to be taught that there is a value to different professions. And then sometimes I think that we get a bad rap, and I think we need to improve our appearance in the community, That's what it is.
Okay, Stephanie, we'll go, oh, sorry. Sweet, sorry, I did see I changed it and I didn't do that. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, as an association leader, I think an important part of that role in the community is being a trusted advocate that's willing to listen. You know, you want to make sure that our members are comfortable reaching out with any questions or issues that they should be addressed, and that goes for the community too, and our customers and clients, of course. You know, with everything going on, legislative, and of course with the recent settlement, there's so much information out on the internet right now and in the news, and it can be really overwhelming for a lot of people. So I think right now is an important time to show that we are trusted members here at RSCK. And by doing that, we really need to be able to listen and advocate for the needs of others, and take them all into account, whether or not that we might not think they're initially important, or they're things that relate specifically to our values or what we think is important.
Okay, now Stephanie. Starting for our question number 3. What specific association benefit do you believe is the most important to members and why?
Is Ben Markowitz here? She's been like this. One of the best things that we have done as an association is invest in our members through education. And I got a front row seat at that whenever we start bringing in speakers and other educational opportunities for our membership. We inspire the ones around us. We lead them to learn. And with all of the changes that we're going through, the best education you can be is to have a classroom full of people that they can also learn from each other. So I would say hands down, the best thing that we have here at our association is our education.
Thinking about that question, advocacy is what came to mind for me, and it really is kind of what we do, either at the local, state, or national level for the real estate industry and for our customers. You know, there's not an association of National Association of Homeowners, so we get to work for them. And so advocacy would be my 2 cents.
You stole my thunder. Well, and not having been involved in the local association here, just the, you know, if you're looking at for the benefit of the local association, well, I'm new to it. So you know, I think that advocacy though is kind of the hidden gem to the day-to-day member that's not involved. They don't realize it. You know, it's kind of a hidden benefit to a lot of them. I've been involved, I'm a former FPC, I'm a state political coordinator currently. I know, John, you're still in FPC. So, you know, we've been in the trenches as far as visiting with legislators one-on-one or within a group, advocating for things at the national and state level. But I think advocacy here at home is also very important. Being knowing what's going on with your city commissions, with your county commissions, especially if they're talking about anything that has to do with rezoning and things of that nature. And that's a buzz topic in a lot of communities. So I think that is one of the main benefits. And I also agree with Stephanie that education is a huge benefit to being involved with the association, because without the education opportunities, especially if it not just CE, but professional development opportunities to make our members better.
Well, for me, it's education as well. I do believe it's a great benefit to our members to be able to offer them CE classes, but also just being able to get out information to them with different, like with the NAR lawsuit, being able to get that out to the members. And I just feel education is probably the most important to me.
Oh, you still want that. Yeah, I too, that was the main reason that I became involved once I started on the Works Committee and realized how many people had absolutely no idea what was all this work they were filling out every day and what they were asking people to sign. It just really opened my eyes, and ever since then, I have tried really hard to advocate. We do have a great education. lots of nationwide leaders and lots of good citizens and. But yeah, I think that's probably the most important thing to me.
And I have to echo that as well, really the education piece, and I see kind of the two parts of that, you know, being able to educate our members again on current issues and regulations, forms changing MLS, you know, and making sure that everyone's on top of what's evolving and changing always, you know, in real estate. And the second part, of course, being, yes, all the great educational classes and opportunities here at RSCK to help support engagement success of our members.
Well, I think it's the whole package. I mean, we do offer a lot to our members. There's a lot that goes on down here. We have MLS, we have forms, we have lock boxes, we have education. We've got so many things to offer that a lot of associations I don't think have. But the most important really thing is the tools to do the job. That's the most important thing I think that our membership is looking for. Education is absolutely paramount, but really the tools of their day-to-day life to do their job, do it well, and do it right.
Okay. Question number 4, we'll start with John. What do you believe is the most pressing issue for our association today?
Wow, the elephant in the room. Obviously, the relevancy moving forward. What are the members going to expect? And that's trickling down. The buyers and sellers are looking to their agents for the value. The agents are looking to their companies for the value, and we're all looking at the association for the value. Where's it going? We've always had such a good group down here that has done a good job for the members and to help them with their clients. So, yeah, big question, but it's kind of what the next 6 months, couple of years looks like.
I think coming, some of the fallout from this lawsuit, which I don't know that for the settlement, I'm not sure that we know what that's going to be yet. So part of it could be a risk of losing MLS. There's other data collectors out there that are wanting to do away with our MLS services. And I think this is one piece of the puzzle, is removing compensation off MLS to maybe make less of a reason to be a part of it. You can enter your stuff into XYZ, I'm not going to name any names, but you could enter your stuff into that and not have to put up with MLS rules but the rules and everything that is to benefit everybody. But there's plenty of actors out there that don't like to abide by it. So I think it's a combination of educating the public of our value, educating the public of the value of our multiple listing service in our marketplace. And you just managing whatever else falls out from this settlement.
Well, that's the same thing, that I think all of us agree on is the NAR lawsuit. I can't add anything else to that. We've already said pretty much everything, but the other one for me would be our merger. It's, trying to merge both boards and doing away with one MLS to another MLS, just a lot of things that our membership has questions on, and we all have done great answering whatever they've done. I think I've called quite a few times to ask questions, but so I think to me that once we get through all the merger and we're all completely on board with same MLS and everything, I think we'll be great on it. But that's one of my issues too, I think.
Well, I can echo all that same thing. I think that right now we kind of operate on what we see is what we know currently, and we are all kind of assuming that it's going to be a work in progress continuing on. And I think that it would continue to be a challenge, as Chris mentioned. There's people looking for more reasons to cause divisions within the associations. And so I think we just need to keep working with our people and educating.
Absolutely. I think, these settlement issues that we have going on, regulatory changes, not only locally, but federally and at a state level, and making sure that all of our members are equipped to be able to, have to pivot. I think everyone, we've been fortunate to kind of just be in routine. I mean, obviously each transaction is different, but when it comes down to most of the paperwork, and now it's really kind of made a lot of people nervous, right? So how can we give and make sure our members have the confidence they need to be able to address these changes and feel comfortable and be able to continue being successful with these changes as well?
You know, business changes, it happens all the time. I think there's going to be more change that's going to come in the day when it's involved in see all the things changing and something. I think that's something that reminds me of when the state came out. I looked at the building, the state came out and said, "You got to tell your buyer verbally that you went to yourself." Prior to that, you didn't have any disclosure whatsoever to anyone, because everybody went to themselves. The broker said, went on a rant for about 10 minutes and said, "I'm not telling the buyer that they don't want to work for themselves. I'm quitting the state." She's all for another 15. Yeah, change is going to happen, and we just have to embrace it, deal with it. And always going to be needed. They told us when the internet came out that we were going to be replaced. So 25 years later, we're still very much needed. They need to talk about it's on their side, help them open the doors, get the deal done, get the deal with all the problems. Because we are nothing but problems.
Well, is this one not working? I don't know what's happening.
No.
It's dead. It's all dead. So what is the most pressing issue to our association? We've already talked about the in-ear lawsuits. We're already doing the things that we need to be doing to move forward. I think the number one thing that we face as an association is affordable housing versus housing that's affordable. We have people that need places to go. Renting is not working anymore. There's not enough rentals. They're ready to buy. We're watching them sit on the sidelines, and we're not being advocates for those people. And those are the things that we need to be talking to our state associations about, our local associations about, city, county, all of those people that sit in those seats. They need to understand how crucial it is right now for that buyer to be able to afford a home, not just a shingle over their head, but to actually have the American dream.
Number 5, we'll start with Chris on this one. Why are you interested in serving on the board?
So this one's probably not one that everybody's gonna have the same answer for. And I get first crack at it. So my interest in serving on the board is to get to know at a deeper level the association that I'm part of. That's probably my selfish reason. The other reason would be I believe my experience with having been involved and continuing to be involved at the national and state level brings a voice back to, or knowledge back to the local level of what's going on there. And I know that there's several others in Wichita that are involved at the national level as well, and the state level, because I've served on committees with a lot of you in this group. But getting the more perspective you have of those levels, you can kind of see what's coming down the pike. That's going to affect you on the local level. Also, because we're newly merged into this association, keeping the members in Salina area informed on what the association did as well.
since I've been in real estate, I've always believed in just jumping in and trying to get involved in everything. And so for me, that's what I want to do is get involved with this association and get on the board. And so I can kind of help our members as well. Come to terms with this is what we're doing and also just see where this board's vision is and the direction that you guys go in. I also feel it'd be a great opportunity to network and meet other agents. And as you can well tell, there are a lot of people and we all have different talents. Fortunately, there's people that are really good at going out to the state and involving themselves with the political process and that part of the association's duties. I'm the worker bee. I would like to sit behind the scenes and work hard. And I think that I bring value because of years of experience. And I guess that's why I would like to continue. I think that we've started, I think we've got a good start on what's going to change for the NIR settlement. And I would like to be able to continue through that because it was very important.
Made it back down. Yeah, so kind of my why, just kind of stems honestly just from, going, I just really love, supporting and advocating for others, whether it's, you know, on a personal level, policy related issues, being able to work in committees and groups with diverse backgrounds and different mindsets, I think is so valuable to creating a successful board, no matter where. I'm just so honored looking down the table to see who I'm sitting with. I mean, I look up to so many of these realtors next to me who I've been able to look up to while being licensed just 3.5 years. And I think being a young agent, and when I say young, I mean years of experience, not by my age personally, that I could bring a unique perspective and possibly be able to encourage other involvement with younger, again, whether it's age or to the profession, be able to promote more of that engagement as well. And I really, in this short time, have just through, you know, the realtors on my team and other engagement, would love to see more involvement at our association. And so that's a big piece of it for me too. I'm really passionate about encouraging and motivating others to be able to share their voice as well. And I really believe that in this position, I can be a strong advocate for that piece.
My motivation is to help this realtor community. Hopefully I bring a lot of different ideas to the table because of my vast different experience from owning rental property, building homes, being involved in commercial transactions, plus managing and selling homes also. So I bring a perspective maybe that's a little bit different than a lot of other people who are more focused just on one thing, and I hope that will help the board to make the right decisions. And as this board knows, I'm not shy about giving my opinion. Right? Right. So, but yeah, that's my motivation. My daughter's also in real estate now too, so I have a vested interest in helping the next generation. And we have a really unbelievable board here. I mean, I can't think of there be another board in the country that is involved and as good as we are.
So I want to serve on the board because I feel like it's important to continue serving our association. The association has given so much to me, and I want to continue to give that to others and to those who come behind us. I'm committed to raising the bar for our industry, creating a level of professionalism that is unparalleled, and continuing to grow with our strategic plan for our 1, 3, and 5 year plans.
my why, I guess, is the future of the real estate industry is probably gonna look a lot different than what we've been used to in the last few years. And I think historically, I've had a pretty well-rounded background in involvement between associations, local, state, national, and also personally, whether it be selling or managing. So I just think as we move forward as an industry, I'd like to hopefully be at the table to help make good decisions for our members, put thoughtful and strategic thought into it and make sure that it's what is the right thing to do for the whole.
Hey, Tammy, was number 6, what is your best leadership quality?
For me, in integrity and communication, you have to be open and honest with your clients as well as members and the community. I feel like I'm a very honest person. I do tell you what I like or don't like, and I can be very vocal sometimes, but I do think that those are the 2 qualities that you need to have in our business.
I don't know if mine's good quality or not, but I love to play devil's advocate with people. I think that the best way to find more varied answers from people and looking at different sides of things is to sometimes represent on board things that you don't necessarily agree with and listen to the reasons that other people do.
Some of my, the working mind area, some leadership skills that I think that I have that would contribute well in this position. Start with, I'm a very empathetic person. It's really easy for me to listen to others and, try to really understand their perspective and where they come from and understand, maybe something that I haven't been seeing, with whether it's my opinion or advice that I wasn't aware that I have. So, beyond that, I think I have the skill of really working well with people who might not be as like-minded as myself. Because again, I just really like to understand where people are coming from and what got them to have their, again, opinion or perspective. And so those are 2 things that I really enjoy. And kind of like Sandy said, I just love having those discussions with people who challenge me and I'm able to learn from.
I think integrity and sincerity are the most important things when I'm working with a client. That's what they're looking for. If you don't have sincerity and you don't have integrity, you're never going to get anywhere with a client or working with the board. And I enjoy the opportunity to debate different things with other board members and hopefully come to a resolution. And but to do that with sincerity and integrity, I think is the most important part of it.
So my best leadership quality is I'm a master communicator. I want to make sure that when we're having a conversation that both myself and the other person communicate on a high level. So when you leave that conversation, everybody is in one agreement, especially at the board table. We all have to work together. My second thing is probably my second favorite quality is integrity. I mean what I say what I mean, and we're going to leave it at that.
Recently, I realized that the leadership skill I had that it took a long time to come to fruition, and I'm proud of, and not everybody has it, is the ability to talk a little less and listen a lot more. And I think everybody can get a little bit further down the road trying that, and it'll bring a lot to the table.
Yeah. You just don't want it. No, I do tend to listen and think before I speak and listen to both sides of the story. There's always 2 sides of the story, and what I always say is the truth somewhere in the middle. So I guess listening and also processing and thinking, because I think to come to a conclusion that you can act on, you've got to know where you stand and know where everybody else stands.
Okay, number 7 for Sandy. What does RPAC mean to you?
Oh, God.
Well, I have the unpopular position that RPAC is a necessary evil. I think that RPAC is it provides us with the link between us and supports our positions to our local, state, and local, state, and national political organizations. I grew up in a small town where there was a large political presence, so my background kind of has a bad taste in the back of my mouth when it comes to politicians, so that's why I'm always kind of hesitant to speak about RPAC. I see its value, I understand its value, it does wonders for us, and been at a number of meetings with our local legislators, and they pay attention to us. They know the workforce to be dealt with because of the fact that we do have a
I get a little buffer time now. So I forgot to mention, I also served as a state political coordinator this past year, and through that opportunity, I was invited to attend a winter advocacy conference. I'm pretty sure I have that title correctly, back in January, and that, you know, I've heard about RPAC, you know, and Gentry's always yelling at us about it, you know, and it's kind of like, okay, you know, and but really having the opportunity to go to that conference and being able to connect with people who are really focused on making sure we have the right people in the right seats to make sure that these important policies that impact all of us as realtors, and not just us, but obviously everyone in our community who has the dream of homeownership, the importance of that. So they just pay such an important role in making sure that we have the right people representing our industry.
I look at it as business insurance. I mean, that's what's gonna keep us in business. The political arena is so crazy anymore, but we have to have our seat at the table, and we've got to have our voices heard. Just like recently, it was like a year ago or so, the FEMA flood insurance, that was a big thing that would impact us all. And so those type of things are very important, and we do have such a loud voice because we're the largest trade organization in the world. So people listen to us, and it's very important that we support RPAC.
I could talk to all day on this, it's so bad. I'll leave it at 2 sentences. Number one, RPAC is the future of our industry. We advocate for the Realtor Party, not the political designation that these individuals have that we get to help elect. We work hard to bridging those relationships, networking with our elected officials, and making sure that we always have a seat at the table.
I think from the beginning of my involvement down here, when I got placed on the RPAC committee and had no idea what it was, it opened my eyes. And I was a believer right away, kind of like what Myron said, it's insurance. You know, I've been in this industry for 17 years now, and it's been very, very generous. And I look at it as insurance that it will help me provide for my family for years to come. So I'm definitely a big believer, and yes, go RPAC.
So I guess it's put your money where your mouth is. So I've been a major investor, I believe, for 12 years now, at the national level. So, and along with several others here, I've been to a couple political rallies at the one was at the Washington Monument in 2012. There was another one a couple years ago. It's amazing to see the impact that has, and also advocating both at the state and national level. But it's also just as important to advocate here at the local level. And RPAC, to quote our state lobbyists of present past, if you don't have a seat at the table, then you're on the menu.
I agree with all that. I do give to RPAC every year. knowing that it's gonna help our industry. And I continue to do that and help them that it promotes and protects our industry.
Okay, before we go on, Sheila, you told me to check the time, yeah?
I would say we wrap up with final comment.
Okay, and then no other questions. Last. Sheila, do I have to ask them if they have any?
Question from the audience.
Yeah, we can see if anyone has.
Did anybody have something we haven't covered yet? Okay, oh. Okay.
I know a couple you mentioned that you contribute to RPAC, would you all tell us what your commitment level is and how long you have been to how long you been thinking of RPAC off the statement this year?
I can't remember if I invested the first couple of years, I think.
Similar to Chris, I think it's been about 12 years when I started at the major investor level. I missed 1 year in there that I've got back up to. So I've been a major investor for years.
I know I started early in the 99, then went to 250 for a few years and then it's at 500 and wanted to starting our over $1,000 of contribution each year, at least for the last 3 years.
Major investor this year, and I'm invested $1 million.
And I have less years than everyone, but I have contributed all my years. And like I admitted just a bit ago, I honestly didn't really see the large importance of it. But definitely after having that better understanding, trying to be a better advocate for other members to know the importance and contribute as well, and plan to contribute more this year. We still got time.
Any others? Okay, you want each of them to do a wrap up statement or just to be wrapped up?
I think you can probably wrap it
Okay,
up.
because I didn't have that on my notes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, there's no other questions out here. With all the questions they've given us, we want to thank our candidates for attending today and for you attending today. Voting for the board of directors will be open on Monday, this coming Monday, the 26th, and run through Wednesday, September 11th. It will be online. We want everyone to cast their votes for the 5 open positions that we have for the board of directors, and the results of the election will be announced on September 12th at the RSCK annual meeting, and we appreciate you attending.